Since apparently that's one of our problems. That's one of our ongoing problems here.
Uh-oh.
I explained to you that was out of my hands.
I was like, this man gave me no
see,
last show. We were pretty because as soon as we ended the show, usually it like saves to my computer, and then out of nowhere, just nothing happened.
Oh man!
I'm like, and usually when there's two people here, you would think one person is like, oh, the record button isn't, there's recording, not, there's somebody would have made it known, but apparently we just have problems on that aspect. We're working on that. We're working on that.
I told you my old computer would tell me, with this one, it just it don't care.
It don't care.
It don't care.
Look, man, we're gonna work on this. We'll get it together eventually. That's what we're hoping for. 2023 is when the heel turn gets their shit together.
Y'all got this.
Oh man. All right, awesome. Got it up on Twitter. Got it up on all social medias. Looking at us on YouTube, all of us looking gorgeous. So there's only one thing to do at a time like this. Hello all and welcome to the Heel Turn Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson Jr. Devin Lee Crimes alongside me. Devin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. A lot better than last week.
A lot better than last week. We'll get into that. We're going to get into that in a minute, man. But we have a special guest with us. We got a special guest. Justin joins us. For those that are on Twitter, Justin Time 211. He's joined us right here. Got his own podcast. But we'll have to, matter of fact, I'm talking too much. You do the plug-in. Plug everything that you have. Who do we have with us today?
Man, we got the In Time Wrestling Podcast, man. You got one half of it. I wish I could have had the other half with me, but would have been dope. But In Time Wrestling Podcast, yes, a lot of people. It's me and my brother. We just talk wrestling. It's basically what we do. We'll talk a lot of other stuff too, but it's mostly wrestling. We've done like newer shows, older shows, stuff that's not even like on TV. Like I've debated on trying to do a Lucha Underground kind of thing, like show, but I couldn't find Lucha Underground, which sucks because I would love to rewatch that again. But like we just do all that kind of stuff. We just pretty much talk wrestling. It's me and my brother. It's just a whole conversation. One sit down, just record everything, pump it out. Everybody gets to enjoy it. We just have a blast doing it. It's been got all these people that I met on Twitter, like you guys, and this giant group chat that I'm in on Twitter. It's just a bunch of wrestling podcasts, sports podcasts, and all this other stuff. And it's just like, people say Twitter is chaotic, but when you meet the right people, it's absolutely worth it like that. 1,000%.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more. And even then, you're exactly right. That's how all of us really kind of come together on Twitter. Wrestling Twitter has kind of helped us bring all of us together, seeing your takes, throughout the past year and a half of me and my friend Devin doing this. We're like, okay, this guy's making a little bit of sense, and then as the days goes on, everything gets all clear and cut, and you actually come to an agreement and you actually see eye to eye with a lot of everyone. So man, we love to have you. We love to have you on. We were talking about it for a minute, actually, to be honest with you. And just real quick, for the listening audience, when do your podcast episodes come out?
Basically, it's on the weekends for here. It's on Saturdays. We've just watch all the weekly shows, pump out an episode on the weekend, pay-per-view or premium live event, if you want to call it now, comes out. We'll wait till Sunday, pump it out on Sunday. So that way you can listen to it on Sunday. You can listen to it on Monday, whatever time you want to. We get covering everything that we get of the week. So that way, before the new week starts, you got what you got out of us from there. So.
Yeah, awesome, man. Love to hear it. And look, we're just going to get right into it. Usually we just go in a little circle. So we introduce the topics. You get first dibs. we slide over to Devin, and then we just go in a complete circle unless we get into it. then it's just fair game. Then it's just 100% fair game, man. But
awesome.
Man, we just got to get it to the pretty much the meat and potatoes of it all. And let's just start with Rhea Ripley, man. Rhea Ripley finally came out with her decision on Monday. A lot of us kind of figured it was going to be Bianca Belair, but as she started talking, it made a little bit more sense. You know, the history she had with Charlotte when she was blonde, and we actually thought she was going to be huge, and she was huge at NXT. And then Charlotte Flair came and kind of ruined everything. And then Io Sky, who was Io Shirai at the time, came in and kind of ruined things in their triple threat match. Then all in all, what was your thoughts on Rhea Ripley and her decision? Do you think she made the right decision?
To be honest with you, I was fine with it. And I'm not the biggest Charlotte Flair fan at all. Like, ooh. She is, you know, to me, sometimes I look at her and I go, she's incredibly overrated with the stuff she does. Like, but when Rhea picks Charlotte, I go, before she even made the decision, I'm sitting there and I'm like, either way you look at it, it makes sense either way. Either she has the opportunity to have the match with Bianca, and she didn't get to have it Money in the Bank because she was medically disqualified to compete, or she gets a rematch with Charlotte to make up for WrestleMania, where she should have never lost that NXT championship. It was just, let's give Charlotte the NXT title because, you know, it's Charlotte Flair and she's got nothing better to do. So let's have her just tromp over to NXT and see if we could try to help their ratings with Charlotte on there. But that doesn't help at all. Charlotte doesn't do anything. Charlotte basically just comes over there, wins after she wins the title, and just basically just puts a wall on the women's division while she just trounces through everybody. And I'm like, it was such a bad decision to give her that title. And Rhea picking Charlotte just gives her that opportunity to say, hey, what happened there? We get to erase that, and I get to take that from you. And when she said, like, put her in her place, absolutely love that she said she's going to put her in her place, because everybody says Charlotte's on this pedestal up here. Well, it's time for Rhea to just reach up there and yank her off of it and have her stand up there, because this mommy character, listen, I haven't been crazy for Judgment Day either too much, but this mommy character is fantastic right now. And I am so ready for her to take that title off of Charlotte, because honestly, Rhea going over to SmackDown kind of boosts that division right now, because that division's kind of slacking big time. They got a stacked Raw side for the women's division, but the SmackDown side is like struggling. So Rhea over there, I think, would be a big pickup if she can go over there and get everybody to start stepping their game up, kind of like what Ronda used to do for me. Like when her first run, she was there to elevate that division big time. And it's like, then the second run was a whole disaster, which, God, I hope we never have to ever go through that again.
Hey.
I think Rhea could be the person to help spark that division.
Devin?
No, I definitely agree. And I'm going to look at it where, like, I agree when you said you could go either way and it'll turn out pretty good, because we could always just save her to go against Bianca for later. Like, there's plenty of time for that. But, like, Charlotte right now, to try to go back and kind of rectify what happened, that's probably the best bet to go right now. And then also take it over to SmackDown and elevate that division. Or not elevate, but enhance it, I should say. Give it more star power to it. That's where, like, no matter, like, that was a good position for her. Like, no matter which way she would have went, you wouldn't really be lacking in anything. But I feel like this is the best path right now.
Oh, man, no, I couldn't agree more. Well, the only part I disagreed with was the Charlotte was overrated part. That was the part I was like, I don't know, man, but but that's the awesome part about this. You were 100% right, because when Charlotte has a title, there's a wall. And I love that nowadays this wall is kind of being broken when you have a Bianca Belair, when you have Rhea Ripley, you know, when you have women wrestlers like that are coming out. Eventually Shayna Baszler will break through. We just got to stop watching her do stupid stuff, you know? She just got to be on her own, and we got to see NXT Shayna Baszler. So, you know, there are women wrestlers that are now breaking down this wall, because after, you were right, there was a time where it was just all Charlotte. Even when there was Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Naomi, the whole 9 yards. Charlotte was just running through them like they were nothing. And so Rhea, now that we're seeing Rhea just come through, she's fighting men. You know, Akira Tozawa got worked on. And now Rhea, she's body slamming Luke Gallows. Like, we're seeing pure aggression from this woman that we haven't seen in so long. And so I couldn't agree more that this is the perfect time to do something like this. I mean, granted, would we like to see Bianca versus Rhea? Yeah, that would be awesome. But right now, Bianca Belair, she's on an awesome run as well. I think she's gotten to a point where now there's a wall, because on Raw right now, the only person that me and Devin would usually talk about when it came to who's taking this title from Bianca was Rhea. Now that that's not a factor, it's kind of hard to see who's up next, you know, and who's to come to take down Bianca Belair. So, man, I think this is a great decision. I'm liking how this is coming together. And I love what you said, Justin, when you said that Rhea going to SmackDown would do wonders, because that needs some help there as well. So, man, the pretty much you could be hyped no matter where Rhea takes this. You could be hyped no matter where, but at the end of the day, you gotta be happy with how this women's division is going, right?
I mean, easily, like, she's gonna do wonders for this division. She does a great job for Raw's. Like, again, they have so many stars right now on Raw's side. And again, SmackDown really needs some like actual star power right now for the women's side, other than Charlotte and bringing back Ronda. And, you know, we just need something else right now. And Rhea Ripley, I think, can do that, especially with this character. Just having her be the head of that division will help everybody in there, like Emma and even Shayna Baszler. Imagine her and Shayna Baszler running it back, and Shayna actually being able to do what she did in NXT with her when Rhea won the title from her. Like, that would be so like helpful for Shayna Baszler. So we could finally get away from this, her making herself look like a goof all the time with these like hanging around Ronda, and like, she needs it so bad, because it's really just sad to watch Ronda just keep Shayna at a level where she's been always higher, and now she's just like in the middle, just sitting there going, what am I going to do next?
Yes. Devin?
Oh, I definitely agree with the Shayna Baszler part. And I thought we were going to see maybe a change like when Triple H took over the creative and everything, but not really. So maybe the Rhea Ripley piece is what is needed for that.
Yeah, man. Just to pretty much wrap this whole thing in a bow, can't wait for WrestleMania, right? Like, WrestleMania is going to be nice. Like, this, just loving how this women's division is going. Man, WrestleMania, it's in good hands in terms of the women's division, because it has been last year and even the year before that. It's just right now, it just keeps getting better and better. So now it's just we only wait to see at this point in time. But moving on to bigger matters, Roman Reigns gets speared, and before Devin Crimes run to his TV asking for help, where's Solo? Where's Solo? Solo does arrive. Sami Zayn does get the butt kicking that he deserved. The only thing that really stuck out was, I guessed completely wrong. I thought that after that humongous ass whooping that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn took, I thought we weren't going to see them for at least a couple more weeks, just because, you know, give them time to recover. Sammy had the stuff, his tribal chief stuff by the trash. You know, he's heartbroken. I'm thinking that we won't see him for a while. And then he finally shows up. He beats up Roman, but not for long. He gets pretty much the tables turned on him real quick. Where do you guys see this going for Sami Zayn and Roman? Obviously, they have a match at Elimination Chamber, but where do you see this going for Sammy before and afterwards?
Boy, this is going to be so good. It's so good. I love this story right now. I have kind of dipped on my interest on Roman holding these titles right now, but Sammy has literally brought it up to keep the interest there. Like, Roman's title run, like I've always said, keep Roman's title run fresh. As long as he's got this run going, you got to keep it fresh. But now, again, we're starting to recycle opponents here. We're not getting any new blood in the waters with Roman right now. And that's what really sucks. But now we're starting to with Sammy. So there's our first like example right there. Then we're gonna have Cody at Mania. Like Sammy has absolutely nailed every piece of this whole thing. After Jay left at Royal Rumble, it was like, what is going on here? This is a whole different piece that no one expected. And everyone was like, because even Jay put the whole thing on Instagram out about how he was like, I'm out. Like, that's it. And I'm just like, there's no way he's out. I think he's literally just walking away right now because he feels embarrassed that he stepped up to Sanford to protect Sammy. Like, he literally put his neck out to say, hey, Sammy's taking the bullet for us. Like, why hasn't anybody realized this? And then all of a sudden now Sammy's turned his back on him because Roman pushed him to the limit where he just said, I'm done with this. I've had enough of it. And Jay's like, I can't believe I just did this. I can't believe I just let this guy enter our family. And I just try to defend him. What the hell am I doing? And he just left. Like, he's clearly going to come back for the tag title match on Friday. But, like, it's going to lead to eventually Jay finally snapping on Sammy. It's going to be nuts. Sami Zayn has nailed this. And I wish that they had saved this. I wish we could have saved this whole moment. I wish Sami Zayn had gotten this Mania moment. I wish this would have been in Mania Night 1. You could have built Sammy up, get him to Mania, face Roman, not have it be Cody getting both titles. If there's such desperation to split these titles up, you could have had two people have massive Mania moments by beating Roman at Mania, by having Sammy beat him night 1 with help from Kevin Owens. Sammy could have had that Mania moment by not only winning a world title, but getting to spend it with his friend and his brother, whichever one he wants to call Kevin Owens half the time. Like, have Cody beat him night 2, it would have been massive. But I get we're going with the Elimination Chamber thing to get the pop. We want the huge reaction when Sammy has those close call moments where he's probably going to do it. Everyone's going to be like, he's going to beat Roman. He's going to beat Roman. Like, we clearly know he's not going to beat Roman at this point. But he deserves to beat Roman for how amazing of the storytelling he's done with this whole thing. I wish we were doing that. But right now, I am still locked in and pumped with this story.
Oh man, Devin, before you respond, shout out to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. They slid into the live stream. What's up, fellas? And they say, Justin, you're everywhere, bro.
Shout out to Devin.
Man, shout out to Clark Street. That another podcast. The first people they were the first ones we actually met as soon as we started the podcast. So man, they beyond awesome. We got to link in with them too. Sorry about that, Devin. But yeah.
Oh no, that's all good. No, I agree. This whole story has been great. I didn't think it would even be to this level that it's gone to. And I'm, as much as I like the whole, how can I put it? I like this whole run that Roman's had. I'll be honest. I feel like around this WrestleMania is where we should be starting the dust should start to settle. Because I mean, it's cool, but I can't see him going to another third WrestleMania walking in as a champion. Like, people gonna get tired of it, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna get to the past the Infinity War. Now we're in Endgame, but man, Sami Zayn, I'm not saying he surprised me, but he went to levels I didn't think he was gonna go with this, and to get to that point where he's at that point now where you want to see him take on Roman. You know, he may not beat Roman, but you want to see him in that level now. Like, you know, he's got to that point. All this character development is worth it now. And then you throw in also like Jey Uso, and then all the how he's reacting to it. It's just like layers upon layers of. They have an entire like hour worth of segments all put together. This like bloodline story, and I'm like, it's like a movie. And man, it's a ride. I'll put it like that. You know, seeing Roman get hit with his own move, it hurt, but it was Sammy that did. So I let it slide.
You'll let it slide. You gonna let it slide? Is what? Okay.
I'm gonna let it slide.
You're gonna wow. Well, here's where we get into the whole bigger picture of this whole thing. Sammy, and this is a big question. Because granted, one man has won the Royal Rumble, another man has been doing amazing work for a good year, and this story has been too amazing to get rid of. Who deserves this main event spot to take on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Do you think it should have been Cody Rhodes, or do you think it should have been Sami Zayn, or do you think it should be Cody Rhodes?
That's tough. If I had to be brutally honest with you, I would have probably said Sammy. I think it would have been way bigger. And I'm not saying that Cody can't make this whole like story of him trying to tell a story with Roman, you know, family versus family, doing it for the legacies. But like, I don't know, Sammy's story just seems so massive right now. I think he would have been a better main event for Roman. Because just imagine how that reaction would have been if Sammy had beaten Roman at WrestleMania. Like Cody winning, yeah, everyone's kind of expecting it at this point. And it's probably still going to be a hell of a reaction. But everyone seems so invested in Sammy. And that's the thing that, like, when Cody won the Rumble, I went, okay, this might be good. This is going to be good, but it's also could be bad because how many people still want Sammy at this point? Cody, as much as we love Cody right now, there's a way bigger story going on before his that's kind of stronger than his too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I still would have gone Sammy for this one, but I'm not disappointed that Cody's getting the main event because I think the two of them can tell a great story together. But Sammy's just feels like it deserved to end on a big stage, not a sideshow.
Yeah, Devin.
That is a tough decision to make because it's like almost like right place at the wrong time in a way. And you know, we hate to look back at this like maybe like 5 or 6 years later, like, man, you know, they should have went with they should have went with so and so. But it is tough. I'm gonna actually go with Sammy as well because of investment. You know, and I don't put it on Cody because he did get, you know, a lot of time away because of his injury. So I mean, who knows how they would have handled him building up from had he not gotten injured prior to Hell in a Cell up to now. Who knows where he would have been? Maybe he would have gotten a shot already for all we know. But through with Sammy, like just having weeks upon weeks and months of investment of a story, just like character development, things like that, that makes like a payoff at WrestleMania makes the most sense. That's where it should, you know, accumulate to. And there's no offense to what Cody Rhodes is and what he's done. It's just the fact that he's placed in this great position aside something that's been built to a great position. Because no matter, you knew if he came back around Royal Rumble time, you knew pretty much he's going to win it, go on to WrestleMania. But nobody would have predicted when Sami Zayn first came into that locker room, was like, well, hey, Tribal Chief. And we would get to this point where we're excited for an Elimination Chamber match in Montreal with Sami going for the title. But through investment and just letting things play out, that's how we got to this point. So, yeah, I would have to go with Sami just through investment alone.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And the only thing that was really bugging me about this, and also Clark Street Podcast says Sami is a hashtag forever traitor. I'm pretty sure, Devin, you share that same sentiment, right?
Devin
No, I'm just kidding.
Look, and look, just going into, and that's what Injustice said the biggest thing. You know, you want this to happen on a big stage. I don't want to. We already have Roman and Cody already set for WrestleMania. Why in Montreal on Elimination Chamber do we have to see Roman Reigns choke out Sami Zayn? You know, like why does this have to happen not only in Montreal? Why does it have to end here too? You know, because I'm pretty sure Roman's just going to look forward to Cody Rhodes right after this. I feel like that's when we veer into the Cody Roman feud. Why does that have to end right now. You know, and that's specific. I feel like that's kind of not only is it kind of disrespectful, you know, towards this whole storyline. I feel like you could do a whole lot more. I'm not saying it'll end at Elimination Chamber, but the way it's looking, the way this whole thing is kind of angling out, it seems like this is going to end there. And I feel like that's kind of messed up. I feel like this needs to be a WrestleMania moment so that even if Sammy does get choked out, it happened at WrestleMania. You know, like we were on the edge of our feet. You know, there were thousands of people there, and it was given a huge platform as it deserves. So, man, I feel like that kind of messes the whole thing up. I feel like if it was up to me, and this is going to lead us into our next topic, this is what I feel like this should have been Roman and Sammy going all the way through WrestleMania. Cody's been gone for almost close to half a year. Have Seth Rollins just come over. I ain't finished with you, bro. We got unfinished business. You know, so like I'm okay with a part 4 because it's been a minute. And I want to see, and look, it's Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. If they can't wrestle an amazing match, you know, for the 4th time after we didn't see Cesaro and Sheamus 20 times, after we done seen Randy Orton and John Cena 50,000 times, we can see Seth. You know, we can see Seth and Cody one more time just to close it out. But leading us to our next topic, it looks like Seth Rollins is going to have his hands busy at Mania with Logan Paul. Justin, what's your thoughts on potentially seeing a Seth Rollins Logan Paul feud?
So, I am not a big Logan Paul fan, but the guy is impressive as hell. I'll give him that every time. But I went into it going, okay, after he eliminated Seth at the Rumble, we immediately all go, yeah, it's clearly going to be Logan Paul and Seth Rollins, but I don't actually see a problem with this here. I really don't. Because you could get Logan Paul some uber heel heat going into that, have Seth be the baby face. Like, it just sounds weird when you say it, Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. But if you've seen Logan Paul wrestle, you can't tell me that it ain't going to be a great match because it's probably going to be awesome. Like, I don't know what it is about it. As much as I don't like Logan Paul, I'm kind of all amped for it because Logan Paul can get that heat right now. And Seth is absolutely beloved by everybody. So you got some interest there, I would say.
Devin?
It does sound kind of weird just hearing like Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, and you're like, all right, I guess, like, whatever. But the guy do put on some good matches. It's just I wish he would do it more often, but I guess I get what I get. And that was like my issue with him popping in the Royal Rumble. I had no problem with it. It's just like, man, I don't see you that much. So I'm like, the investment right there is just not there at all. But yeah, going into it, like you're right. Seth Rollins would be the babyface going into that because everybody's singing, everybody loves it. Then you got Logan Paul. He comes out with his, his cards and stuff. Like, all right, do what you want to do, Logan. But I think they could put on a great match that's fitting for WrestleMania. It's just it do sound weird just to think of the concept, but it could play all right.
Yeah, and look, I mean, to be honest, you could put Seth Rollins in the ring with me. We're gonna put on a 5-star classic, like like that. And I have zero like wrestling ability, but Seth Rollins is just that damn good, man. Like Seth Rollins, and I realized that because I used to be the biggest Seth Rollins hater because I was just like, how do people even like this man? He annoys the hell out of me. But he had a Monday Night Raw match against Neville, and I believe it was for the WWE Championship, and that blew me away. That kind of changed my whole perspective of Seth Rollins. That was when I jumped on the train. And Clark Street Wrestling Podcast says, I think everyone is just annoyed about how good Logan Paul is at wrestling, and that's a fact. Mm-hmm. Logan Paul, I mean, he also has his stuff on the side that makes him a villain as well. He's not really he's just stealing some money, so the whole 9 yards in that. But Logan Paul, you could say sketch person outside of it. But once he gets in the ring, man, you can't deny that there's talent there. He's tall. He looks like a wrestler, and he's doing moves again. He's with Ricochet. He's doing springboard moves with Ricochet. You know, that's insane. Not only that, you're standing there with the Miz. You know, you're having matches against Roman. You know, it's hard to deny how good Logan Paul is at wrestling. I didn't have much for that Logan Roman match until he started jumping off turnbuckles, hitting frog splashes on announcement tables. Like that takes an insane amount of skill, and recorded it on his phone. Like, you know, that's insane to me. So Logan Paul, the wrestling ability is there. The will to get better, you know, it seems like it is there for him as well. You know, I think him and Pat McAfee are on the same boat when it comes to wrestling. Both have the wrestling talent, both have the wrestling ability. All you need to do is give them a phone call, and they're as good as go. They're as good as ready. And so, as much as I'm kind of deflated that Seth Rollins. I want Seth Rollins to have kind of a bigger match because I think he's had a really good year in terms of entertainment wise and how great he's been in the ring and his character. I wish it would have been more of a bigger match type. But Logan Paul, I mean, you can't deny that we're going to see something exciting coming out of this, right?
I wouldn't doubt it at all. Those guys both can put on a freaking show. As much as Logan Paul gets hated by people, can't admit the guy isn't freaking amazing. So, and he's going to be in there with Seth Rollins. So even if he's off a little bit, Seth can compensate for it. And then even probably vice versa, I would say. Even if Seth has kind of like an off moment, I think Logan Paul can kind of help him there and just bounce right back into it.
Yeah. Devin, final words?
Yeah, it just all falls to like, I just be like, why are you so good at this, dude? Like, dang. Why you just can't be a better person? Why you at it?
Yeah,
why you can't put this effort?
You got a point there.
That's how I feel watching this match. I'd be like, dang.
Man, look, I couldn't agree any more with that. But just moving forward, and we're gonna go across the street to AEW because I'm seeing a little bit of problem. At least to me, it's a problem. You guys can say that I'm young and I'm just an old man, just being disgruntled and all that. But this TNT title right now, Samoa Joe just won it from Darby Allin. Before that, Darby Allin beat Samoa Joe. And before that, Samoa Joe had to beat Wardlow. But before he did that, he had to chop off Wardlow's hair. Before Wardlow had to do that, he had to fight 12,000 people to get this. There's so much going on with this TNT title. And right now, it looks like it's just a game of hot potato. And to me personally, it's diminishing the title. And it has kind of just ruined my interest in this whole thing. What's your thoughts, Justin and Devin, on pretty much the TNT title and the state it's at?
See, like the matches associated with the TNT title right now have been amazing. But again, yeah, I question the same thing. What is with the hot potato right now? It's like we finally went through the whole debacle of putting it on Wardlow when he was hot, and then you don't freaking capitalize on that. You kind of let him cool down to this moment where Joe takes the title from him, and now we're just bouncing it back and forth. Like, why did Joe lose the title to Darby in the first place if Joe was just going to get it back? Like, what was even the point? Like, I don't get what's with this TNT title stuff right now. It's one of those titles that it's like the only one they like love to flip-flop so much. And I don't get it. It don't make no sense. Like, how come you can have when Cody has the title, he'll hold it forever and put on all these matches with people and then finally lose it. And then Darby does the same thing. He wins the title the first time and just goes on a nice little run with it. And it's just like, now we're just going, oh, I think I want to put it back on Wardlow. Oh, but I want to put it on Joe. But maybe we should put it on Darby. Maybe we should put it back on Wardlow? Back on Joe? Maybe? I don't think they don't know what the hell they're doing right now. They just don't seem to have a plan for the TNT title. And that's just crazy to think of right now. Like, world titles seems to be locked in. Women's title, kind of there. It's just doesn't seem like there's much going forward with that right now either. Right. Tag titles are all over the place. I don't know. It just sucks that that's a title that they just keep going. Just put it on that guy. No, put it on that guy, and then that guy. So we draw names out of a hat and pick the next guy? Huh? Let's do that. Should I just throw a dart at a wall and see if I get somebody? Yeah, right.
They do like a coin flip, like, all right, I guess it's your turn tonight.
Right. It's like, if you guys could just run in a circle and I'll just pick. Like, I'll just
all right, heads, hook,
musical
tails,
chairs.
we got Jungle Boy. Go for it.
Right. Yeah, get up in there.
Well, no, I definitely agree. It's going because first with Wardlow, it's like, all right, he's pretty hot, and then you let him, like you said, cool off, and then Joe takes it, cut his hair off, and all that stuff. You know, why not just, you know, why not just when he's eating cereal, just knock it out of his hand if you had it, you know, like, all right. And then Darby beats Samoa Joe, so it's like, all right, so you're trying to tell me Wardlow can't beat Samoa Joe, but Darby can beat Samoa Joe. Okay, we gonna go with that, and then Samoa Joe wins it back. So it's just like, what are we doing? Like, I can see if it was at least a triple threat where you had Wardlow, Samoa Joe, and Darby, and then you had some type of conclusion from that, but that wasn't even it. So yeah, that TNT championship, that should be a championship where, you know, obviously you're not going to the world title just yet, but something to elevate you through, you know, great matches or something like that. But if it's going around in a circle, I really don't care.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I could care less. And shout out to Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. AEW is trash at storytelling. I'm glad you said that. That leads us to the next topic because look, in conjoining the AEW TNT title, and before, and I'm pretty sure Justin has experienced this too. We've had to throw hands on Twitter with some AEW fans, and I'm pretty sure you've probably had your run-in with AEW fans, right?
They are so defensive with this stuff, and I don't get it. Like, it's just somebody's opinion. Leave it. Like, stop.
Yes, that's all it is. It's literally just an opinion. One small opinion leads to like a paragraph of 3 different profiles telling you how you don't know wrestling. And like, but that's just some people. We're not gonna put all of, you know, AEW fans in that, but that's just some of the run-ins most of us had. But just going into that, the TNT title, Saraya and Toni Storm and everything that they're going through, that mumbo jumbo that they have with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, nobody knows what's going on in that. Adam Page and John Moxley, at least we're seeing some quality matches from them. At least something's coming out of this, but that's been a little bit all up in the air. You brought up the tag team division, the Guns and the Acclaimed. You know, the fight over Billy Gunn. Who's the real father in this whole situation? You know, just a fight for the father. Whose daddy is who? And all of this is just kind of watching AEW is kind of just it's kind of just a bunch of conjoined nothingness. We're seeing quality matches. The matches are good. You know, the talent is there. But sometimes you kind of go through watching this like, what did I just watch? You know, in terms of Saraya and Toni Storm, they turned heel a couple of weeks ago, and I thought Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter have been healed since they entered, you know, AEW. So now they got a flip-flop, and now Saraya and Toni Storm are spray painting people's bodies, and no offense to them, it's, you know, nobody's popping for it. They did that to straight silence. So, you know, the Acclaimed and the Guns, they're doing stuff to a straight silence. You know, at least Billy Gunn, they have some personality, but in terms of storytelling, there's nothing really huge going on about it. I mean, you all can feel free to disagree, but what are you seeing in the state of AEW storytelling right now?
I think the one big flaw with AEW stories is a lot of it's like incredibly predictable. Like people that can predict this stuff from the jump. And then Tony's just like, all right, I'll put it on TV. Like this whole, like, especially the Saraya and Tony turning heel with Britt and Jamie now being the face. Like, why wasn't that story told? If this was such a big story you have to tell of the OGs versus the new people, like, why wasn't this told earlier? Like, if it was such a big deal. but this is now all of a sudden become a big deal. Like, it's just so sudden, so abrupt. They're not giving you any reason. Like, even the Hangman and Moxley thing is cool and all, but it's like, so far, the story is basically, because I got knocked out, I'm going to knock you out, and then you're going to knock me out, and then we're going to knock each other out, and then it's just like, clearly you're going to lead up to a lights out match between the two. They're going to fight each other, like, they're going to have that friggin' match, and it's going to be crazy. But again, that's all the story's been, is because Hangman got knocked out, Hangman had to get revenge and knock him out. Like, plain and simple. That's all it was. It's just their stories are just either way too predictable or just poorly told. That's just basically what they've done. And either that or there's just none at all. They just put a match on television because, hey, it's a cool match, right? Everybody loves this match. Like, yeah, but a story attached to it would be nice too. Just something. Like, they just lack in stories.
No, definitely. And especially with the Saraya Tony Storm thing, it's like going into that, you know, she was all like, people are like, oh, who's the face and the heel in this? Oh, that doesn't matter. And now you see that it matters because you started confusing people. And they're like, well, why should I be cheering for you? You just coming in here saying this is your house and you had nothing to do with any foundations for it. So why should I cheer for you? You know? And then that's where them saying like, oh, that doesn't matter. And you find out it does. And that type of stuff plays into storytelling so people can know where they need to put their energy towards. Like, should I be trying to cheer for you or boo you? And just for me, it's another, like when I was doing those like heel turn alerts, I didn't do it for AEW because it felt like every week somebody was turning on somebody. And then after the next week, they turning on somebody, they turning back a face just to, you know, it's just, that's why I wouldn't do it, because they'll make me wear my own gimmick. So that's my whole thing with AEW. It's just, they need to have some type of cohesive like pacing for stuff. Like, just look at what you got, and you know, just I feel like it would be common wrestler sense. Like, just don't sit up there going, oh, faces and heels don't matter. They do, because then you're gonna confuse people, and then when you get the reaction you didn't want to get, now you spray painting people to silence. That's why.
And I think we can all agree. And this might just be how I play the game. I just think Tony Khan playing on universe mode at this point. Tony Khan, like, it's just come to the point where he's just kind of throwing stuff together. And it's just like, and just like what you said about Saraya, I think Saraya is awesome as a person, all that, and so. But when she said that, when somebody asked, hey, who's the heel and who's the face, and she said, doesn't matter, that had to have been the most idiotic thing you could have ever said. It does matter. Like, you know, there's no way you could just have a face-on-face, heel-on-heel encounter with no story, because they might think they're telling the story. There's no story going on. You know, there's nothing really happening going on between these four women, and yet you can't really try to call it entertainment. You know, what's really drawing us and what's drawing us into this? You know, you're not getting us involved with what's going on without your whole story. And it's more so hurting you guys than it's hurting anybody else. You know, because how are we going to get invested in you guys? So I feel like in that aspect of it all, she kind of shot herself in the foot in that comment. Tony Khan playing on universe mode is just him kind of throwing stuff together. He could easily change stuff around because, hey, at least in the WWE, they do stuff like Liv Morgan. I don't think any of us remembered her getting booted out quick as hell last year in the Royal Rumble. But what we do remember is her withstanding, you know, the pretty much the longest in this last Royal Rumble, and that's the only credit I'm gonna give Liv Morgan on this program. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Almost vomited. That kind of hurt a little bit having to give her credit. But man,
I was sitting here like he actually said something nice.
I seen a smile come across your face. I'm like, I gotta shut this down quick. But that's just where it comes to. You know, WWE kind of recovers this whole thing. AEW doesn't at all, and Clark Street joins us as well. MJF is the most boring story. It's the same thing. It's like missionary position.
There it is. You said it.
And also, they say AEW needs to format storytelling for TV, like WWE or even Impact. Even Impact does it for TV. AEW just kind of throws it all together. Last week, we said AEW was ECW with more money, and so that's exactly kind of where it's leading to at this point in time. And that's not even a shot at AEW because we think it can get better. We know it can get better, and it will get better. It's just the fact the state of this at now, it's not making itself look good at all. And so
it's almost like you're still trying to distinguish that pro wrestling and sports entertainment is different.
Yes.
It's not different. It's the same freaking thing. It's like you want to be entertained as well in AEW, but they're like, but we're pro wrestling. We don't do anything entertaining. That's not what our purpose is. We're pro wrestling. Yeah, but if you're the same freaking thing, just because you have a different name doesn't mean it's any different. It's the same thing. Tell a freaking story and stay consistent with it. Don't just mesh shit together and go, it works. Are you interested? No, doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, exactly. Oh, so
No,
I can't. That's the one thing I was like, I can't stand that like identity crisis because it's like they'll be like, oh, this is pro wrestling. You know, we keep it serious over here. It's no games. And then I'll see a segment with that pizza guy I forgot his name. And I'm just like, but I thought it was supposed to be all serious. Like, pick a side. What you gonna be? I don't mind, just as long as you tell me like this is sports entertainment. Like this is professional wrestling. It's all in one. It goes hand in hand at some point. But don't just say like, oh, we don't do that stuff, and then you do it. So I'm like, how am I supposed to look at you?
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. And also, just going off to the storytelling and everything else, and to dig into what Clark Street commented in about MJF, the most boring story, and it's the same thing, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, how many times do we got to see? Yeah, you can find me whenever. You just got to fight my cousin, my big brother, my grandma, my auntie. What? Oh, you got to fight my mailman too. Apparently he wants some of this. Like, it's just, you got to fight everybody and their mom, everybody and MJF's mom to pretty much get your hands on MJF. And how many times can you do that before it just gets old? Bryan Danielson is old. Like, he's not old, but he's up in age, compared to MJF is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not saying Bryan Danielson can't go through and wipe all these guys out, but I don't want to see Bryan Danielson go through and pretty much go through MJF's list of rosters just like a Cody Rhodes did, just like a CM Punk did. We're yeah, like it gets old after a while. Like, and we over here, we love MJF. It's hard to find somebody that doesn't at this point. And so we need to see MJF do something different if we want to take him seriously as a AEW champion.
Yes.
So
it's come down to like I've kind of called MJF a one-trick pony at this point. I really like the guy. He is fantastic. The fact that you could stick to kayfabe outside of the business and be able to talk your ass off in there and you're pretty damn good in the ring. That's awesome. His character is just an absolute jerk and it's fantastic. But it's like everything associated with him is the same thing. It's literally a one-trick pony every time.
Devin.
Look, I love MJF, but he can't get still. I mean, this whole thing of MJF right now.
Yeah, I was like, is that him right there? Is that
he's probably like, man, watch your mouth. Oh, shoot, I can't even get to it. But this whole thing of like you gotta run through like 8 guys, and stuff to get to MJF. It's just like, all right, trying to hold me over to the next pay-per-view that's not gonna do it. I need something that's gonna make me can't wait to see you guys tear at it. Like, just I mean, MJF can cut a great promo, things like that, but I need some more. It's gonna get stale, just like how we were talking about, like with Roman. Like, it's cool him holding the 2 titles this long, but you had to like the Sami Zayn is what freshened it up. And I'm not saying like MJF been champion for like 2 years, but still, it's doing the same thing you've been doing before. Now you got the championship, something gotta change.
No, I could actually make a decent comparison to that, because we can go back to where nobody wanted Roman champion at all. Like nobody. I knew he was gonna be champion eventually, but man, stop shoving this dude in my face. Like, I was just sick of seeing Roman. He goes away for a while. He comes back with Paul Heyman. He slowly reaches his hand out to get the contract handed to him, and then he goes on and he wins a title. And it's amazing. That time that Roman was away, he comes back, he wins the title, and now he's on this phenomenal run that we've been pretty much on board with since day one. Just to go back and switch over to AEW, we've been wanting MJF as champion for I don't know how long. There's like MJF, the route MJF had to take into being champion is crazy and it's phenomenal. And now he's got it, and we're deflated. We're bored, and it's depressing, and it's not what we wanted for MJF. It's kind of the reverse of what Roman got. Roman didn't get no praise at all until he turned heel. That man got booed out of how many WrestleManias? 2 or 3? I just seen a post earlier saying he shouldn't even have main evented a couple of these main events of WrestleManias. So MJF definitely deserves better. It's just the fact of what do you do in the situation? He's fighting the right people. It's just a matter of what do you do? What do you guys think they should do?
I don't know what you really do with MJF. That's the thing. Like, he's set in his ways. That's just it. Like, that's how he's done it. And he's just accustomed to, it's like he's in his own bubble and he just doesn't want to get out of that bubble or expand it or anything. It's like, come on, just something different. But what do you do? But again, the question is, what do you do different with it? How do you take that character and do something different with it? It's the guy who goes literally, I'm a badass, but just goes, no, I don't want to fight you. I swear, I don't want to fight you just yet. Like, come on. Just like, I just can't figure out anything that would literally say MJF could do it different and it would work, because we've seen it come out of, like, we've seen other heels like tactics and stuff like MJF, but it's like they do other stuff. And it's like, if I see MJF do that kind of stuff, it just kind of comes off weird, because it's like he's a guy that comes off, he has like no boundaries sometimes. He tries to break the boundaries around him sometimes, but it's like he's not comfortable getting out of that boundary. It's just weird. It's a very strange thing with MJF.
Hold on, Devin. Before you answer, Clark Street slid through. We still using house phones, Devin?
That's not. Well, see, look, we're trying to phase it out. Put it that way. That's one of the things that need to change. See, the house phone's getting pretty stale, just like MJF. Like, I mean, got to figure out a way. But I do agree with that, Clark Street. I'm working on that. With MJF, I don't know if he needs an opposing force or something, somebody that brings out a bit more from him, because it's just like on the microphone. I mean, I really don't know who at this point where I see him like, he might be able to, hang with him for this. That's not the case. So, I mean, I don't know if he needs like his own, not saying like his own like rivalry, like he don't need his Rock to his Stone Cold or something. I don't know if there's someone that can bring more out of him. I think that's what may be what can help with this, but I really don't know who to point that to right now.
Yeah, no. If right now it just seems like all of CM Punk and MJF's work has been for nothing. It seems like, they so much work and time and effort were put into that feud, and look at where both of them are right now. So it's just a whole messed up situation. But look, we're getting to the tail end of the show. Before we close out the show, we got to get to our favorite segment, a segment we haven't done in a long while, and that's our dream match. And look, man, Devin, you got the head of the table shirt on. It's only right that we throw Roman Reigns into our dream match conversation. And since we just passed it was been a couple months since the anniversary of his passing. We didn't do a show on that time. So it's only best that we talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Eddie Guerrero. Roman Reigns taking on Eddie Guerrero one-on-one singles match. Obviously, there's going to be some disqualification. Eddie, you can't be cheating in this situation unless you want to, but it's all on us to decide. But right now, Justin, who do you got? Eddie Guerrero versus Roman. How do you see it playing out?
And if we're talking like if it was Eddie back then versus Roman today.
Matter of fact, yeah, you pick which Eddie Guerrero we're gonna talk about.
Oh, man, you gotta go peak Eddie, like right when he was like right before, like I would say right after, like maybe leading up to beating Brock for the WWE title. That Eddie Guerrero versus today Roman Reigns. Oh boy, oh boy. How in the world do you pick that? That is so tough. Because you got bloodline interferences, Eddie trying to cheat easily. You'd probably get some Chavo showing up to help him. Ray would probably show up to help him. But if we're talking Ray nowadays, Dom would probably get intervened. That'd be all over the place. You want to talk about sometimes matches turning into a circus. This might be a circus here. This one, oh boy, that's tough. Man, I would probably say if it happened, I would probably say Roman would probably get it. Basically because numbers game. Numbers game would probably come in handy. Because like you'd get the bloodline interference. And maybe we'd even see more bloodline people that aren't in WWE show up just because why the hell not? But Eddie would have like backup in his own form and like Ray and Chavo and maybe Batista. Yeah, I would definitely probably go Roman just because the numbers game is more in his favor than it is Eddie's.
Oh, I like it, man. I like it. Devin, man. I kind of already. Tell us why Roman's gonna win, Devin. Tell us.
See, already just coming into it. I could just easily flip, but man, it's tough, and I won't because look. Let me tell you why Roman gonna win. Because let me build into this though. This will be interesting. Like this will be some I just bring it up again. This will be some in-game stuff, man. You got Eddie with his crew. You got Roman with the bloodline. They both don't mind bending the rules. Obviously, you got Isaiah told Eddie if he want to cheat, he can go ahead. I don't know what kind of general manager would do that, but look, Eddie, he can hang with Roman. He's technical enough, but I feel like throughout the match, Roman gonna be like, man, get up off me. And if it gets chippy, throw Jay in there real quick. Eddie take care of him or Chavo take care of him. Throw Solo up in there. Batista probably take care of him. So I'm already thinking how the interference is gonna play out. But I'm gonna have to give it to Roman because I just feel like if we talking peak Eddie Guerrero and peak Roman, I feel like I said with the bloodline as well, and I feel Roman would have everything he would need to take on Eddie Guerrero. If the spirit don't work out, I'm sorry, Eddie. That guillotine gonna be waiting for you.
So. Guillotine gonna be waiting for you.
Every time he be hitting somebody with 3 spears, I'm like, bro, you got one more in your arsenal. Dang.
You have the guillotine, Roman? That's you. Like, use the guillotine, Roman.
That was me with Kevin. I'm like, man, if you don't choke Kevin out and get up out of here.
This is your 5th spear. Just choke him out, Roman, please.
I ain't been hit somebody with my finisher move like 3 times. Like, I guess it ain't working.
Look, man, I want to agree with all you guys. You guys make great points. But I'm going with my man's Eddie Guerrero. And look, his lying, cheating, and stealing is his game, man. And even watching his matches with Brock Lesnar, he had to come out of his shoe to beat Kurt Angle. Literally had to come out of his shoe to beat the legendary Kurt Angle. There's no telling how this man can sneakily get out of the Roman's way, especially when you have if Rey Mysterio does want to come out there and help. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't, considering how Roman did Rey in that Hell in a Cell, how he pretty much brutalized him there. And so I wouldn't want Rey to come out there. I can see Chavo sliding in there. Eddie Guerrero definitely does have some backup that can come through and help. And I think especially Eddie's resiliency back in the day, especially going up against Brock Lesnar in that match, was awesome. If it wasn't for that nicely placed title, that was right beside Brock that he got DDT'd on, I don't think Eddie would have came through out that victorious. And I think it'll be something like that. It could be just a chair, being placed in the right spot where Roman just avoids, where Roman tries to spear Eddie. Eddie avoids it, runs into a chair. Now Eddie's just kind of just smoothly sliding up in that top rope, give a little shimmy one time, frog splash, calls it a day. I think, and I like what Devin said, Eddie Guerrero is technical enough. The lasso from El Paso, the submission move that he got. I'm not saying he won't have Roman on there for a long period of time. I'm not saying Roman is tapping out, but I'm saying Eddie has enough in his arsenal to wear Roman down. From his lucha wrestling background to even being technical at that, I think Eddie Guerrero will do anything and everything in his power to take down Roman. But I don't think he takes him down without cheating. I think there'll be a lot of cheating involved. But then again, Roman cheats in all his matches, so who cares, right? We got
all the matches.
Well, I'm sorry? Not all?
No, lately, yeah, but
lately, come on, we can't do this. We can't do this. No, let's not do this. We actually got Clark Street's answers. Tribal Chief, #ForeverChamp, all day, every day, and he has his ones up in the sky. Yep. So we got, it's pretty much 3-1 at this point. 3-1. Roman gets the win in it. Man, it sucks being outnumbered, but then again, that's usually what happens.
Hey, that'd be a fire match, though.
Huh?
Oh, easily.
I said that'd be a fire match, though.
Oh, definitely a
just
fire
thinking
match.
of build up to it, like all of that stuff.
Did he cheat to be KO at the Royal Rumble? Look, man. Look, I'm sorry, Clark Street. We gotta go through this. We gotta go through. It looked clean to me. Look, Clark Street. Look. Look, Clark Street. We gotta go through this. We got to go through this because when we talk about clean Roman matches, I'm talking no interferences, nobody showing up whatsoever. Can he beat KO 101? Yes, I'm 100% positive Roman can beat KO 101. But do we have to see the cousins run in? Do we have to see people interfering? And I'm not talking about the Royal Rumble. I'm just talking about it in general. I'm saying Roman can do these matches. He can win these matches by himself. But why the hell do we have to see his family come in every day? I don't think he needed his family to beat Drew McIntyre, but Solo had to come in. He didn't need his family to be. And I can go on. There's lists of people Roman have gone on to fight. And I'm just saying, why does his cousins have to be in the way for him to get the win? That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. It might look clean to you, but then again, I don't know. Okay, he beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam. Austin Theory for the beat John Cena clean at WrestleMania. So look, at the end of the day, Undertaker beat John Cena clean in what, 30 seconds at WrestleMania? And John Cena stopped everything he was doing. He was eating popcorn. He was talking to biddies, but he was talking to women. He was talking to girls alongside of him, having the time of his life. Somebody whispered in his ear, "Hey, Undertaker here." Man, hopped out, bolted real quick. Came back, got his ass beat in 30 seconds. He beat Bryan Danielson when he exiled him to AEW. Oh my God,
made him leave.
Clark Street. Can we have y'all on the show? We're gonna have y'all on the show. Because look, my blood boils talking about Roman to this man. And Justin, look, we are more than happy to have you on when Clark Street would love to join us as well. But we would love to have you on top of that too, if you would be interested.
Absolutely. You ain't gotta tell me twice.
Look, man, say no more. Clark Street, we gotta have you on. We got to, because we gotta have the Roman Reigns talk.
Oh, yes.
We gotta. He says, "I'm just stating facts." No. Can you stay facts with us next week?
Stay
facts with us next week. Stay facts with us next week.
They clean too.
Because look, we're reaching a point to where we love what everything Roman's doing, but we gotta. You sure you want the smoke? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be having this conversation back and forth with you. Like, look. All right. So it's official. We haven't even made this official yet. We haven't thought of a time, place, date, but turns out Clark Street will be here next week. They haven't said anything yet, but we're just making the reservations. Clark Street podcast, and Justin as well will be on next week, next Sunday. Thank you so much, Justin. Well, before we have you say your final words, we got to have the man right alongside me. Devin, is there anything you want to say before we close the show out?
First, I want to say thank you, Clark Street, for the clean facts. You know, I needed it for going against this man. He talking about his blood be boiling. Shoot, mine be flowing over the pot. But Justin, man, thank you for coming, man. It's been real fun.
Thank you, guys.
And this whole show, man, you know what? Look, we're gonna be back on track. I'm gonna get rid of the house phone hopefully by next week.
No,
be
you're
interrupted by MJF calling me when I be trying to talk about how Staley getting. But until then,
until then, house phone. You've made the list.
Right? Yeah. Like, man,
I'm just staring at like, don't you rate no more?
Yeah, you had us worried. As soon as you said the name MJF, I thought he got you on speed dial. But before we officially close everything out for good, man. And again, thank you, Justin, for joining us. So much fun. Clark Street Podcast says it is decided. So, man, Clark Street, if you're still here, we'll do the podcast right now. He says fun show. He said it's a fun show today. And yeah, Devin, it's 2023. No more house phones. So I'll get with Clark Street Wrestling Podcast on the timing and all that. But Justin, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if they could reach out to you, or where can they find you at?
I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you. This was absolute blast. We can't wait till next time. You can find me on Twitter at JustinTime211. You can follow my co-host, my brother, at JeremyInTime721. In Time Wrestling Podcast. Yes, we have been on a big, long hiatus right now because there's a lot of personal stuff going on here. But when I get a chance to hang out with some friends, you're damn right I'm going to take that opportunity every time. But also, that does not mean the podcast is going away. We will be back. You just got to keep your eyes peeled on Twitter, and we will be back.
Hey, look, say no more. And look, me and Devin, we recently got off our long hiatus. And trust me, we already know how that process is. So whenever you and your brother got some time on your hands at all, be welcome to join in whenever. Say the word. You can whenever we even say something out the way, if you're ever on our live stream, just text us, send the link. I will send the link to you. I'll send you the link mid-show, and you can join us.
I appreciate it.
So, man, as always, thank you all for listening. Thank you all on YouTube. Thank you all on Wild 110 back at home in Indianapolis. So we're on our internet radio station back at home in Indy that comes on Fridays. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for this dropping on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's going to be a huge show next week. It's going to be crowded, and it's going to be a whole lot of Roman talk. So if you don't want to hear nothing about Roman, you just got to tune in anyway. Because blood's going to be boiling. Chairs are going to be thrown. It's going to be a mess, man.
No phones will be ringing.
No house phones will be allowed. No house phones are allowed. The minute you hear a house phone, you got to get exiled from the Zoom. So, man, as always, man, thank you all for listening. Justin, again, thank you for joining us. And thank you all. And